Good evening and welcome to Sundays with Neelu. I hope you all are doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for all your story responses, my prayers, and best wishes to all of you. Coming to this week's story. This week's story's title is The Rich Man and the Peasant. So, once upon a time, there was a very rich man and he hated poor people. He didn't like those people who were working in the fields, those farmers, poor farmers who were working in the field. So these peasants who were like, sweating in the fields and all, obviously they were dirty because they used to work in the soil and they would sweat and that's the reason they were dirty. But the rich man, whenever he passed by, he never even gave them a glance. He never looked at them. So everyone knew, all the peasants there knew that, the rich man was not in favor of looking at them or talking to them ever. Yeah. So many months passed by, and once one of the peasants said that, today I saw the rich man standing by the window and he was looking at us. So another peasant says that, you know what, they keep talking amongst themselves. So he says, you know what, I saw him riding on his horse and he looked so handsome. So the third peasant says, so what is so great about it? So what is so great about the rich man? If I decide to have a meal with him, I can have a meal with him. So the other peasants say that, oh, is it? You will have a meal with him. If you really do that, we will give you 3 sacks of wheat free. So he says, fine, I'll do that and I'll show it to you. So there is a bet between them, and they say that if you don't do it, you will be listening to whatever we say, for the next 1 year. So the peasant, the third one says, okay, I'll do it. And he goes away. So when he goes, next day he goes to the rich man's house and he tries to get in. So the gatekeepers there, his guards, they stop him and they say that you can't get in because and never appear here because my boss will never allow you inside. Yeah. So to this, the peasant says that, I have some good news to share with him. Please tell him, but it is only for his ears. If you say this to him, I'm sure he will allow me. So they go and they tell him. So the rich man really thinks about it. He says, if he has some good news for me, maybe there's something in it for me. So then he calls the peasant in. So he says that, sir, I want to share something with you, but that's only for your ears. I cannot share it in front of everyone. So the rich man says, I don't want to know anything as such. He says, no, but it's really important. So the rich man says, okay. He asks all his people to leave from there. And then he says, okay, now tell me what it is. He says, no, I cannot say like that from very far. I have to come close to you and say. So he thinks about it. The rich man really hates all these dirty people who are working in the fields. But then he says, if there is something in it for me, I should allow him to tell me. So he goes closely to his ear and he whispers, sir, would you please tell me how much does a huge chunk of gold as big as a horse's head would cost? So the rich man thinks, why does he want to know how much a huge chunk of gold costs? He says, but why do you want to know? He says, sir, will you please tell me, because I have my meals waiting for me, in the fields. I have to go back and eat with my friends. So the rich man says, but I still want to know. Why would you want to know? He says, but if you tell me, then if not, I'll eat and then come back and tell you. So the rich man thinks about it and he says, maybe this, farmer, this poor farmer must have dug up some treasure and he wants to tell me about it because it's my field. He wants to tell me about it. He says, okay, fine, you don't go to eat your meal because if you go out, it will be difficult for you to again come back. It will take time. So, and I'm really curious about the news. But since you're very hungry, you first have a meal with me because I'm anyway going to eat my lunch. So then he invites him and he makes him sit across, and they both have across the table and they both have a very good meal. After that, the rich man washes his hands and he says, now tell me, what is the good news? Why do you want to know about the price of a huge chunk of gold as big as a horse's head? So the peasant looks here and there and he says, just like that, I was curious. So I thought you were a rich man, so you would tell me. So the rich man gets really annoyed. He says, I will give you 10 rupees. Will you please tell me? Because that's what he thinks farmer is worth it. No, so he says, why will you please tell me? So the rich man, the poor man says that, sir, I was just curious. I thought you have a lot of money, so you will know the value of it. That's why I came straight to you and I asked you this question. Now the rich man gets very annoyed. He says that you first get out of my sight. You fool, you wasted my time and your time. And he asks him to leave. So the poor peasant leaves that place and he looks back at the rich man and he thinks, you may think I'm a fool, but I'm not a fool because I've had one of the best meals of my life with a rich man. And then now I'm going to go and tell my friends and earn 3 sacks of, wheat free. So, and he walks out. So, this is the story. So, while reading this story, I was thinking, we one is like, we all want to know what is in it for us. That's when we get curious. And one more thing is, if you are clever, you can win anyone's heart. And another important thing is when you're hungry, if anyone serves you a good meal, you feel really good. So while I was, reading this story, I remembered one of the incidents from my life when I was away from India and I was in Istanbul. So one of my friends from Lebanon was, he was there and we were like, we were in a particular house where there was a common kitchen. So he came late at night after meeting his friends and all at 2 o'clock. For some reason, I woke up to pick up a glass of water. He came home. He walked in and he said, "Nilima, I'm really hungry. I didn't eat anything. I think it's too late and now I have to sleep. With a hungry stomach." I said, "Don't worry. I'll try and make something for you. In India, we are so used to having guests at any given point of time." So I said, "I'll cook a meal for him." I quickly tossed as some scrambled eggs. I made some, egg burji, you can say. And then I, served little rice which was left in the evening, which I cooked. And I quickly served him that. So he ate and there were tears in his eyes. Actually, tears rolled down his cheeks. He said that this is one of the best meals I've ever had because you have served me like, at this hour, you have served me a meal, and that too when I was really hungry. And this I will remember as one of the best meals of my life. He was a very, very rich person. He he was one of those rich merchants in Lebanon, and one of those. And he always probably had it from his, servants and all. Maybe he used to return home late. But when he had a friend cook for him, he felt very good and he felt at home. So that best meal is something which I also remember as a very good memory because I could serve someone who was hungry. So this is what I remembered. What was the best meal of your life? Do describe. Did your granny cook for you? Or did your mother cook the best meal for you? Or was the best meal you had was with your friend or with someone whom you love? Please share it in the comment section. I will respond to all the comments related to this story. I will see you again next Sunday with another new story. Till then, please take care of your health and your loved ones. Bye.